All right, what is going on? How y'all doing out there? This is your Uncle Steve here on a Sunday, April 16th. Glad you could join me in here. Lots to talk about this week. Got a lot of Falcon news, of course, this week with the trade of Jeff Okudah, signing of Bud Dupree, and just the anticipation of the draft coming up. Also, lots of things going on in the Atlanta sports talk area. Of course, the Atlanta Hawks started the playoffs on the wrong foot yesterday, but in a 7-game series, you can't call them completely out. A 13-point loss, which was much worse than it actually was after being down by 30 in the first half. And the Atlanta Braves streaking, taking care of business against teams they're supposed to, winning their 6 in a row today. One against the Kansas City Royals. So the floor is open pretty much for everything, folks. It's a Sunday. It's kind of a chill day, relax. I'm going to go all over the place. Obviously, we keep our minds mostly on Atlanta Falcons, but I am open to talk about anything today, including other teams in the Atlanta sports area. Also, today's question of the day, everyone's been talking this week about Coachella. And back in the day, when I was a little younger, festivals, I mean, don't get me wrong, you used to have the little concerts where you have, I think, the Bud Superfest and the Cool Jazz Festival that used to be in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. That was in the 70s and 80s. Got a chance to see those. But I was just wondering from a standpoint of today, because, the Coachella things, you get like, I don't know, 30, 40 groups a night. And I guess the headliners might get a longer set, but you literally get 40 artists. And I don't know about you, but I'm not trying to go out in the outside and sometimes in the elements like that. And I don't know, sludge around. I mean, it's not quite Woodstock, but at the same time, there is something to be said about being in a nice arena that's mostly covered and things. Even though I must admit, I do like, I don't even think they call it Lakewood Amphitheater anymore, whatever they call it there. But I'm just about seeing my little concert in the arena. So my question today, in addition to the sports that we'll talk about, like I said, we'll keep it a little lighter today. What artist or group would you like to see in concert that you haven't seen before? It could actually be somebody who has passed away as well. But what concert, what artist or group would you like to see in concert that you haven't seen before? I've seen quite a few concerts in my day. Just a nice little segue to all the stuff we're talking about with sports. But this is a sports show, so we're going to chop it off right here. Dre, I see you in the house. What's up, Uncle Steve? Mr. ATL Swag. Hey, man, I am what I am. I got to give credit where credit is due. John Brooks was here first, and he smashed that like button. And we appreciate if you smash the like button as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all joining us here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. John is always up there. John Brooks says, man, I kind of hope we draft CJ Stroud. And, and you've been seeing the little, rumors. I think Matt Miller was the first person to come out and say maybe some talk about the Falcons being interested in either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. Now, of course, one of those picks you're not going to be able to get. So we probably talking about the number 2 pick, but there's no way. There's no way the Texans are going to give that pick up, right? Right? That's the only way I see Atlanta getting one of those 2 guys. CJ Stroud, that's an interesting that would be interesting, John. I'll say that. I don't want to get anyone's hopes up high. I know there are some in this city or some fans that just believe, y'all just want another quarterback other than Ritter. I'm kind of done with the Lamar Jackson, all that mess. I'm done with it because we passed our brass has said that Ritter is the guy. But at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked, even if not in the first round. I wouldn't be shocked if they go down in one of the lower rounds, possibly, and get a quarterback. That wouldn't shock me at all. So, but the CJ Stroud thing is kind of interesting. I probably wouldn't do it at this point because I think you would just probably have to give up way too much to do that. So I hear you, but I don't know. Winston's in the house, man. What's going on, Winston? Always good to see you in the chat, my friend. RJATL for life in here. What's going on? Happy Sunday to you, my friend. My brother David is in the house as usual. Brother, how you doing? How you doing? Gregory Brown is here. What's going on, man? We looking defensively satisfied out here. Wow, bruh. The defense, I'm telling y'all, I'm ready to put us on that level with Carolina right now as far as defenses for 2023. And I was telling somebody else when we were talking about the moves that we're making, that they're not only moves for this year, but even the guys that are coming in on the one-year contracts, Calais Campbell, Bud Dupree, if they don't happen to play next year, how valuable would that be for some of the experience that is coming on this team for some of these young guys for the last 2 years that we've drafted? The last 2 years, we've basically drafted folks and thrown them out to the fire. Now you have some veteran presence where you can get some of those folks out there, man. Get those folks out there and you can, they can see how veterans work. And I love it. I love that. Even if Bud Dupree doesn't come back, you know what? Maybe some youngster seeing how he works that might, rub off on him. And I'll tell you another thing it does too. These young guys, these positions are being taken. Michael Walker, we're not going to just throw you out there because we don't have anybody else. Troy Anderson, you might have to fight for your way out there to get some time. Taquan Graham, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Cornell Armstrong, D. Alford, as appreciate y'all for what you did last year, but guess what? We got some folks in here now. We might not need y'all starting. We might not need you on the field. So now that's going to stir up the competitiveness in them. They're like, hold on, wait a minute. We've been in camp with this team the last 2 years. Now you telling me y'all bringing in these folks? That's how it goes, man. Especially if your defense doesn't, produce as we've been doing. And I say hasn't produced. I've been one of the ones that have been on the defense for the defense. When you start talking about how they improved at the end of the year. No team scored more than 25 points against the Falcons in the last 8 games. Our problem was our offense for the most part in the last few games. So, some things to think about, man. Winston, thank you so much. And tell a friend to like and subscribe to Uncle Steve's Lounge on YouTube. Again, secondary question today. What concert of an artist or group would you like to see that you haven't? Now, it has to be somebody you haven't seen, not somebody that you're saying, oh, I want to see them again. What artist or group that you haven't seen that you'd like to see again? Y'all make sure y'all let me know who we're talking about in here. Kelly in the house, man. Kelly, I saw you at that range, bro. Just remind me if I ever said anything bad about you not to do it again. Just... I was like, yeah, no, that brother doing some serious training. I got you, brother. I apologize for everything I ever said to you. I'm just playing. That's some cool stuff, though. Philip in the house, what's going on, brother? I'm making these ain'ts, kitties, and tampons, man. I'm going to tell you what, man. Looking at these moves, if we get production from our offense, there's no reason that we not only can't win the NFC South in a watered-down NFC, we should be in the second round. We should be in the second round. I'm looking right now, even before the draft, at how this is shaping up in the NFC South. Yeah, with this defense, I'll take this defense and a couple of ancillary pieces in the draft, maybe a couple of extra free agents down the line. There's no reason this Falcon team can't not only win the division, but probably win a playoff game. And yes, this is coming from somebody who had the Lamar Jackson flag waving high. But guess what? I'm never afraid to say I'm wrong. Live too long in this lifetime to try to act like I know everything. But I like the way they've done this thing. I like the way Terry never didn't have faith in Terry Fontenot. Just had different opinions about that. But the way I see them building now, he's making me a believer. I'm a believer. For those of you who don't remember the Monkees. Francis Washington, what's going on? Look forward to the draft and loving everything it's so far. Oh, yeah. You got to. Gotta love what you see. I do. And I can't wait. You know, it's coming close to the time when the schedule comes out. I can't wait to go on the road against the Saints again. I went last year, and of course, that was Ritter's first game starting. And I'm telling you, man, I'm going to circle that game because those folks were talking so much junk for a trash team. I can't wait to see them again. To see our defense go against them. Oh, it's going to be fun. I can't wait. Dre Steve says, Steve, I have questions. Do you think teams will be scared to throw the ball against us? Well, listen, as well as we have done things on paper, I will caution fans just to say, you know, those first couple of weeks might take a little bit to gel. You never know. But scared, I don't know. You have to, on paper is one thing. Let's see how it works out on the field. But I feel a lot better about this year's team than I did last year's team and 2021's team going into the year as far as defense concerned. Scared? I don't know. Remember we got all those 4 sacks against New Orleans and we were like new look Falcons and then end up getting, 17 for the rest of the year? So I'm one of those people that you got to show me, but I am on paper impressed by what we're doing. Devontae in the house. What's going on, sir? Good to see you. D-Sloan in the house. What's up, Unc? How you doing? No running back at number 8. Again, you're not going to have to pull my arm on that one. I hope, but I don't think it's going to happen. I hope Jalen Carter falls. If we go up, I hope we try to get somebody like a Will Anderson. But if we don't stand pat, man, look, if you have to overload the cornerback room, overload it with a Witherspoon or a Gonzalez. I must admit, something about Tyree Wilson, and every time I look at the little film of him and hear people talk about him, I want to be convinced. I want to be convinced. I do. But, you know. David says the Reds are a little better than we think we are, so that sweep holds some weight as far as the Braves are concerned. Yeah, I mean, the only series, obviously, we've had issue was the San Diego series where they took 3 out of 4 at home, and we get a chance to exact some revenge on them starting tomorrow. So hopefully the Braves can get back on board with that. Best record in the NL at this moment. Dre says, let's get Trey out of Atlanta. He's not happy. Yeah, I mean, you look at the game yesterday, and obviously they didn't come in the first half to play, giving up 71 points. But I was encouraged, and I really mean this. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's garbage time. Boston stopped playing. No, Boston kind of didn't stop playing because they left their starters out there quite a long time in that second half. I was encouraged because the Hawks held them to 40 points in the second half. And it's not like they weren't trying to score. And it's not like they went to the slow down defense. The Hawks tried to do some things. The Trae Young thing is just kind of, you know, amazing to me. And as somebody who at the end of Matt Ryan's tenure was somebody that was ready to get that over with, it's kind of, it's strange to me, man. We got Trae here. What's the year 5? and we're already talking about trading him. I, folks, hold tight, man. It's not a lot of your people who are so ready to get rid of him, boy. Wait until he leaves. And he goes and he's gonna ball out wherever he goes. I'm telling you. I'm watching this Heat game and Miami is jumping out to a lead against Milwaukee. I almost wish, I hate to say this, that we would have got the number 8 seed. I think that was a better matchup with Milwaukee as Giannis is going out for the second time, going to the locker room. It's going to be interesting. David says, I always wanted to see Prince. Oh, you didn't get a chance to see Prince, David? That's, man. I'm trying to tell you, that is a guy. Yeah, best concert overall musicianship and everything that I've ever seen. Prince by far. And I've seen Michael, I've seen Stevie, I've seen the Jacksons, but by far the best show. Philip says Lenny Williams. That would be kind of cool. You sing the 30-minute version of No, Lenny got some more songs than that. That would be awesome to see Lenny Williams. Oblivion and Empire, what's good, brother? What's good? RJ ATL for life, Michael Jackson, and Childish Gambino are two concerts I always wish to attend. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, because of the internet, which is the first album from Childish Gambino. Don't sleep on that. If you haven't had a chance to check out Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, brother got talent. And really the album after that, the one with Redbone and everything, I mean, solid. That would be a nice concert. Obviously, MJ, he's the man. All right, Angel in the house. What's going on, man? How you doing today? Todrick is here with us. Hey, how you is a little later than 4, man. Listen, I know, man, and I'm gonna tell you what happens, Todrick, and I'm being transparent here. A lot of times, not obvious. I go to church in the mornings, and a lot of times things might run a little late, and so as things kind of push down, my schedule pushed down. So I don't ever mean to mislead. That's why I didn't put, when I found out that I wasn't going to be here at 4. That's why I didn't put the reminder in to say I was going to be in. It's a tough swing, man. If I did this for a living 24 hours a day, then I would probably, try to have my schedule a little bit more together. But that's why I didn't do it. Sorry about that. My brother Chuck in the house. What's going on, Chuck? Good to see you in there, brother. Devontae says, I know everybody getting stressed about the 8th pick. Let's talk about the later rounds for just a day. Yeah, I know. We need to start thinking about depth with that, Devontae. I really am interested to see the offensive line moves for this team. I'm not sure. I don't think they'll do that at number 8, but it's going to be imperative for us to get some depth for this offensive line. I like the re-signings of McGarry and Lindstrom on the inside, but one of the things that always kills you, just even if the offensive line needs a rest or two, you're going to need some folks in there to fill those spots. And the wide receiver, got to look at the wide receiver position. We can't sit around and fool ourselves and says, Kadero Hodge is a nice pickup, but that's not your number 2 guy. Is Mac Hollis a number 2 guy? Is Scotty Miller a number 2 guy? I don't think either one of them are. They might be asked to do that in that role. But yeah, we do need to look at wide receiver in the draft. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Devontae. The narrative needs to start going to the second day and third day, and really more importantly that third day, because that's when you have, I think, still four picks in the draft left, if I'm not mistaken. I just had it right here that it's so funny. I took a picture of it because I said to myself, let me see how many draft picks we got left. in here. Hot dog it. Well, I had it in here, but I know we have a couple of picks in that third day, so we need to take advantage of that. Todrick says, "Hey, Unc, how would you grade this offseason? You bias against Ritter." You're just not gonna let it go, bro. Aside, will you be objective and give us credit, or us not getting the shiny new toys is really the hang up for you? What's your grade? Dodger, you probably didn't catch the very beginning, brother. You're never gonna see me as one of these people that's gonna act like I know it everything. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. What's wrong about the Lamar Jackson thing? Because you ended up doing a lot of other things that's going to help this team, not only this year, that's going to help the next couple of years, setting you up. So, yeah, I'd give us a solid B plus, borderline into the A minus. Little concern, as great as the Calais Campbell pick is, Calais is not going to be here more than a year. Bud Dupree comes with injuries over the last couple of years. Same things we were criticizing about Lamar not being here, for the record. But and also the Jeff Okudah trade, while on paper definitely helps with depth if you keep him on the field. Now, last year he was on the field a lot and he did well, but you got to see if we can do that for the long term. That's what I say. Dub J's Big Steve, stay engaged. What's going on, Dub J? In the house. Sean Glover says, why you got on Tampa Bay colors? Tampa Bay colors? What are you talking about? Tampa Bay. You know what? You can't see this. Let me take this off. Brother, this is Atlanta Falcons shirt. Now, if you want to criticize the horrible coloring of this Mac that I'm recording on, that's fine. But this is actually Atlanta Falcons shirt. And so I blame the Atlanta Falcons for making the gray material, but I will never sport Tampa Bay colors. Rusty, what's going on, brother? Say, I like the additions on defense, but let's not fool ourselves. Philly had the best defense, and it didn't matter when they came across an elite offense. And it's one of the things that I think I've been talking about. You have to have a complementary offense. You do. And for most of the postseason, Philadelphia did, giving them full credit. They just, at the very end of the game, they came up one field goal short, and that one turnover by Jalen Hurts, and only one, ended up being the difference. So, yeah, absolutely. Gregory said, I definitely love the new DC, and Gregory finally got some help. Offensive lineman on the other side can't chip and pitch everyone on our defense. Someone's getting free to make a play for us. They're absolutely right. I think that's a great statement. Chuck says, are we speaking of current artists? No, it could be, you didn't come in earlier, Chuck. I said dead or alive. So I never did actually see MJ. If it's current, I like to see Bilal live. Brother has some serious musicality going on. Yeah, Bilal. Bilal did a song with Music Soul Child, and I'm trying to think what album that was the Soul Star album that he did, and it's like the second to last track, and for some reason the title is escaping me right now. But that girl, I gotta see now. I gotta go see. But check that out if you get a chance. Yeah, Bilal is nice. David Stark says the free agent move should allow us to move back and get guys that may not be quite ready to play and collect future picks. As far as running back at number 8 is concerned, we don't need to think about running back until day 3. And the whole thing is, David, it's gonna be, I want to prepare themselves for prepare yourself for the unexpected on draft night. Prepare yourself. there are so many different ways the Falcons can go right now. And it's kind of sad because there are still a lot of holes for us to fill, even with all the free agent moves we made. As I pointed out before, offensive lineman, you can't be mad. Wide receiver, though I don't agree with it, you can't be mad. Running back, don't agree with it, but you can't be mad. Defensive line, can't be mad. Another linebacker, you can't be mad. Another cornerback, another safety. Are you really going to be upset? It may not be what you want, but at the same time, is it a wrong move? Do we not need those positions? All those positions I just named? So, yeah, it's going to be a tough one. And we'll see going into the week of the draft as teams. I think this is going to be one of those years where I think you're going to see a couple of moves during the draft itself. I know we didn't get any huge moves in the draft last year. We got a couple of them prior to the draft, but I think you might see some at the last second moves. And Atlanta might be involved in some of them, whether they're moving up or moving back. Don't be shocked. But hey, Big John in the house, what's going on, man? How you doing today? I'm hanging in there, brother. Thank you so much for the support, as always, John. And he's absolutely right. Hit those like buttons so we can get out there into the YouTube universe. 330, what's going on, brother? Say, other than quarterback, in your opinion, what is the next offensive need that needs to be addressed if we are rolling with how to give him another wide receiver? You got to. I like Drake London. Drake London reminds me of a modern-day Terrence Mathis for this team. I think you still need that one guy that can go out there and get it. And I know a lot of people like Scotty Miller, which is fine, but I want a young cat that can get out there, get some 4.3 to 4.4 speed, go out there and catch those long balls that Ritter's going to be throwing downfield. I like Drake as our possession guy. And not to say that Drake can't go down there and get it either, but I need one more guy that can stretch the field down there. That's me. Gregory says, I wanted to go to a Prince concert. I love Mike. Don't get me wrong. In my opinion, Prince was better musician. He could write and play every instrument available. And that was the one thing about a Prince concert, man. Not only did you see Prince, I had the opportunity to see him during 4 phases. I saw him during Dirty Mind phase, where he made me as a teenager look at him in bikini or a garter belt. I saw him in the Purple Rain stage, which was obviously his most popular stand. I got a chance to see him overseas, which was the Love Sexy tour, which again, musicianship and everything great. And then I got a chance to see him here at Lakewood Amphitheater, and I'm trying to see which album was that. I think that was the Emancipation album when he finally got his little contract stuff straight. And each time, Prince was awesome. Each time. Jay Black said, I never went to a Prince concert. I wanted to go when he got older, not when he was young. Yeah, because, and here's the crazy thing, right? People got to remember, man, Prince was 50-something. Prince was still, now he did slow down from a lot of the dancing. People didn't give him a lot of credit, man. Prince could roll on the stage. I mean, I'm not saying he's Michael Jackson, but the splits, go look. You can look on YouTube now. Go look at some of those old concerts. But I'm telling you, dude, he was step for step. Purple Rain, when him and the Purple Rain with Wendy and Lisa and the Revolution. Prior to that, I guess the first version of the Revolution with Dez Dickerson and I'm trying to think the other guy's name who was in there too. But yeah, Prince is a bad boy. He was a bad boy. Kelly said, if I could, I go back to the 90s and attend a Two Live Crew concert. Yeah, Two Live Crew getting a lot of love now with this Freaknik conspiracy stuff that I've been hearing more scarred over the last 2 or 3 weeks than I've heard, almost as much as I heard when I was during that time. It's crazy. Oh man, Millie Mills, what's going on, man? How you doing? Outside our division, fans from other teams actually think Ritter is going to be all right for us. I'm just like, you got to prove it. Well, we have flipped the script on the quarterbacks in the league right now. So there is a lot of optimism when it comes to these young quarterbacks. You think about the new style right now, and it's arguable. Top 5 quarterbacks, I would say right now, are all still kind of young. When you talk about Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Herbert, Jalen Hurts, all the new school guys are here. I think the last of the Mohicans are probably Russell Wilson. I don't think Matt's going to play anymore, so I can't put him in that discussion. Brady's gone. Roethlisberger's gone. Phillip Rivers gone. I mean, it's a new school. So when you start talking about optimism, I can see, Millie, how other teams might say, hey, Ritter might be that next guy. Look, I hope he is. I hope he is. There's no thought to say, let's let Ritter go down. That's crazy. I hope Ritter is that guy. Now, I'll be the first one to come on here and say, yeah, I was wrong. Can't say I'm wrong about it yet, because I'm wrong about the decision. But I want to see him too. And, you have folks that run through brick walls to say, hey, we're the guy and all of that. We're going to win. Ritter is the guy. No way he could fail. You got to have faith. You're talking to a fan base that's had faith in a lot of quarterbacks. So I think some folks, I applaud. I applaud folks. My brother Todrick, I'm just mentioning your name because I know you're that guy. You're one of them. I applaud you for your faith. I do. That doesn't mean I don't have support for the young man. But I've had faith in a lot of quarterbacks in this franchise. Let him be the one that proves me wrong. I hope so. But gotta prove it, man. Gotta prove it. Charles B in the house. What's going on? What's going on? I remember you, my brother Seba. I hope that's right. Poll for the chat. Plus or minus Falcons average 225 points a game. Wow. That's really good. I'm going to say minus right now. I'm going to say minus until I see it on the field. Minus. Kiwi on the house. What's going on, brother? All present from the desert, 86 degrees. Do we play y'all this year out there? I think we talked about this one time before. Remind me if we play y'all this year, brother. I'm not play y'all, but play in Phoenix this year. Remind me that. I can't remember. I hope so. I'll go out there. I gotta hook up with you. Share some Fort Lewis things. Fort Lewis talk. Billy Mills I say about 17, 21 points. That's me. There's no guarantee. Yeah, 25 points. And when you talk about a ball control offense, unless the defense is Swiss cheese, you're not. Ball control offenses don't score 27, 30 points a game. Their job is to get field position. If you have to punt, put the other team down, and ball control, run the clock. Is my opinion. Winston says we have 4. Thank you, Winston. We have 4 picks in day 3, 2 4s and 2 7s. I always can depend on my brother to keep it real. Big time, Larry. Larry had a chance to go through some good times with the Braves this weekend and a rough one yesterday with the Hawks. But win or lose, entertainment is your game. Larry and his wife will entertain you on the Dixon Way. Please make sure y'all subscribe to him. Says up, Steve Broderick Jones or Peter Skoronski. It's starting to look like the play with Terry Fontenot having an impressive and often overlooked offseason moves by the national media. I can't go wrong with either one of them, Larry. Either one. I'm good. Skoronski for me, because I would like to be able to get Jake Matthews, heir apparent, here, even if he's not playing tackle his first year. If he can get in that guard position, I would love to bring him in. He seems like he's kind of a little bit of a beast. I kind of hate, I hate, they had like one of those media things where they're talking about, we're projecting this person to be a Hall of Famer. And he was one of the guys they project. I was like, come on, y'all. Can he play first? We were ready to project Jadeveon Clowney as a Hall of Famer off one hit in the Outback Bowl. See how that's working out. Philip says, I'm truly behind Desmond Ridder. How confident are you going against a top 10 defense with this team? In the NFC right now, and I'm trying to think of the teams, Philip, that scare me defensively. Even with Philadelphia losing quite a few people, they still have enough that they scare me defensive-wise. NFC East, maybe the Commanders, if they're all healthy. Their secondary is still not as great as I thought it was, but their front four is scary. Going to the NFC North, none of those teams scare me. None. Chicago got some defensive guys. They would be kind of interesting to see, but nobody scares me. Obviously, San Francisco in the West. The Rams defense, maybe they got a little older quicker than we thought. So maybe the Rams. We've seen Seattle's defense, unless they sneaked Jalen Carter out of us, from under us early, they could be formidable. And really the Panthers, what was that, five teams? There's not a lot of teams that scare. With Desmond Ridder. And here's the thing. I don't think they're going to let Desmond throw the ball more than 25 times. I don't think they'll do like Mariota and throw 13, 14 times. I think their goal is to run this ball until their legs run out. That's why it wouldn't shock me if they got another running back in the draft. Chuck says, check out the Roots Tiny Desk concert featuring Bilal. Horn players love it universally. Yeah, I have not seen. I'm surprised. I saw the Roots do a concert with Music Soul Child in the summer, the pandemic thing that they did, where I think the Roots were in one location and Music was in another location. And that was really awesome. So, yeah, I probably do need to check that out. Devontae says, I've been checking out some other teams' podcasts and seems to be scared to see what Atlanta becomes this season before the draft. I know if we hit the draft, I know the league is going to be watching. Oh, they're watching already, Devontae. They're watching already. Trust me. Trust me. They're watching. They are. They don't want to see us get this draft right. Big time Jarius Middlebrooks. That's an old school buddy of mine. What's going on, brother? What do you think about moving Patterson into the slot and have packages for him like Deebo Samuel? Algier was solid as running back, so you can have both on the field and create mismatches. I would love that. I think what they're going to do, Jarius, and I don't know if you agree with me on this, the motion receiver, I can see Scotty Miller fitting in that position pretty nicely. I would definitely make Patterson more of a third down option. I really think we can get another running back in the draft. I think you got to let these young legs take the beating. I don't think Cordell is made for excessive carries. In other words, I don't want to see him get more than 200 carries this year. Because if you notice the last 2 years, near the end of the year, start peeing out on you real early. But I do like what you're saying, though. I do like what you're saying. He could be in that package as well. I'm almost wondering, though, Scotty Miller might be a little bit faster right now for that slot position. But I can definitely see Cordell coming in third down, spelling Tyler. I can definitely see that. Boss says, I saw Prince in the 10th grade at the Omni Dirty Mind Tour. Boss, you might be my age. I'm trying to think, was that? Yeah, okay. So you saw him in the same time I did. Matter of fact, boss, I'm going to share this story real quick. My cousin and I, we spent the night, and that was prior to how concerts are done these days. They had the box office at the Omni, and then, of course, you could go to Turtles, or I know they used to have a little box office over by Kmart in Greenbrier that you can buy tickets. But my cousin and I thought it would be a great idea to spend the night at the Omni for tickets for the Purple Rain tour. And that was late 84 going into 85. And they had 2 shows at the time, only 2. And we got in line. And when I say we were in line, we might have been number, I want to say maybe 60, maybe 70, 60 or 70 in line. Spent the night, cold. We were foolish enough not to bring sleeping bags. We saw people with sleeping bags, pillows, and everything. We was like, oh, yeah, we should have got those. Brother, before we even got halfway down the line, back in the days of scalpers, somebody had bought up all the tickets for the first 2 shows. Luckily, while we were still there, they added the next 2 shows, and they eventually ended up with a 5th show. I went to the 3rd show, and I know it was a weeknight. I want to say it was a Wednesday night at the Omni. And boss, I want to try to think, was I 84 going into 85? I was in 10th grade. I was in 10th grade as well, so we're the same age. Good job. Good job. Kibia says, Mandrill, Atlanta, Fulton County Stadium, 1996, where they're passing joints around and everything. Hey, man, and I'm going to tell you, I went to the Cool Jazz Festival in the same stadium. And remember, at this time, now, let's see, that was like 80, I want to say 84. Jermaine Jackson was the final act, but they had Sherelle and Alexander O'Neal. They had Gene Carn. Gene Carn was one of the first acts. I'm trying to think, was it Lakeside? It was either Lakeside, and why is the SOS band coming to mind? No. I know who it was, because they went on there with Slow Jam. That was Midnight Star. So, yeah, and when you looked up into the air, so I know what you're talking about. When you look into the air, you can see this haze. Back in the days when people were trying to hide marijuana, but it was this haze, and you could literally see the smoke hanging right there in the Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. So, yeah, that was crazy, man. Ghost Peppers, what's going on, man? How you doing? If Carter is there at 8, the pick will be turned in quicker than Terry Fontenot can say the words ethos in a sentence. Brother, I'm right with you. Yeah, Jalen Carter, man, I'm telling y'all, Jalen Carter is probably going to get picked before us. I hope he doesn't. But to your point, if he does, absolutely. Absolutely. Larry says, I don't care if I was in the Freak Deep documentary and purple blue piece. Brother, yes, you do. No, I'm just playing. Now, I mean, and the funny thing was, I know people keep talking about it. I went down there, and at that time, my wife now was my girlfriend. We actually went down there and walked through and stuff. Obviously, we weren't stripping stripping or some of the debauchery pictures that they had. But I mean, we went to places where it was just freaking crowded more than it was, you know, the pictures that you see now with the, you know, the pictures now that would probably get you canceled. Put it that way. But all Freaknik wasn't a strip show in public. All of it was. Matter of fact, a lot of it was locals that were tearing up the city. Quite honestly, I don't want to go whatever on y'all, but man, they tore up poor Greenbrier for no reason, just because people thought it was cool to throw glass through stores. It was kind of a dumb time too. But, you know, hopefully live and learn. Travis says, what's up, Unc? I'm still concerned about the strong safety position, not knocking Hawkins, but I think the position needs to upgrade. Yeah, you're not going to hurt my feelings by even bringing in another safety to compete. Somebody's not going to be there between Hawkins and Grant this year. One of those two guys is not going to be there. We'll see. I do like Hawkins, though. I do like Hawkins. Tris Daddy say, oh, what do you think we will make? Do you think we'll make a run at Buda Baker? If this situation had come up 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, maybe. But I don't think there's any way they're going to be. Buda Baker is trying. When you think about guys like Buda Baker, Darius Slay, trying to think of somebody else who they were saying. What's the guy's name in Tampa Bay? Devin White. Yeah, those guys are making moves because they want to get paid more. Buddha is already in the middle of a huge contract. So I just don't see us taking on that type of money. Plus, we just invested in money in the safety position with Jesse Bates. Devin White is another guy. First contract, he's trying to get paid. He's trying to get out of there and get a team that he knows is going to pay him. Tampa Bay's probably not going to pay him. Darius Slay, the same thing. Darius Slay went out there for a quick second, looked at the landscape and he came right back to Philadelphia. People aren't just paying people this year. So to answer your question, I don't think we are. But it's a crazy world out there, bro. Andrew says 12-5 next season. That's awesome. I hope we do. I hope we do, man. 3 Dirty says, I didn't ever get you. Wait a minute. I didn't ever get you wasn't for Ritter, but I got more of a we're going with Ritter after 4 games without seriously consider other options that we were on the table. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how else to explain it to folks, man. I mean, I support Atlanta Falcons. Great that Matt Ryan played here. Great that Julio Jones played here. Great that Deion Sanders played here. When Deion was gone, I was through with Deion. When Mike Vick was gone, I was through with Mike. I wasn't one of those people with Mike Vick came back to town and we played Philadelphia that Monday night and everybody wearing Vick, every Falcon fan wearing Vick jersey. No, man, I was about trying to beat Mike Vick. Julio Jones, whenever he comes back to Atlanta, if he comes back to Atlanta, I'm going to be rooting against him. That's right. He did come back with Tampa, I guess. But I'm just saying, you know, and I think people misconstrue the concern. We haven't, you know, Matt Ryan was above average. He was an above average quarterback and probably is going to be taken seriously in the Hall of Fame because of his numbers. Going to be taken seriously as far as Hall of Fame consideration. Aside of him, we really haven't had that guy. So for folks who are sour on somebody like myself saying, well, I don't know about Ritter, that's because I've been through, I don't know about Bartkowski, I don't know about Chris Miller, I don't know about Jeff George, I don't know about Billy Joe Tolliver. I don't know about Chris Chandler. I don't know about Mike. You see the point? But it's not anything personal. It's like, let me see more than 4 games. So that's what it is, 3:30. I mean, I just want the best options for my team. But if management tells me this guy is going to be the best option for the team this year, what am I going to do? Put out a protest? Sit here and cry in front of the screen? No, they didn't get Lamar. That's the dumbest thing in the world. I could care less what Lamar is doing right now if he's not on the team. I'm all about this guy. And it's some folks that just act like you can't have a conscience, or not a conscience, but you can't have a opinion about a move that's made, which is ridiculous to me. But again, I don't roll like that. And plus, I've probably been a fan longer than some of those guys that wear underwear. So I don't know. David said, love Skoronski, but short arms bother me. I keep hearing about that as a tackle. That's true. Big Todrick says, I love having fun with you, Unc. Giving you great content. I support the show. That's why I'm always here to support you, Todrick. You know it's nothing but love, brother. Always. As a matter of fact, I want you to always come in. And just a reminder, those of you, please come draft night. We'll be in draft night here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Brother Tidy Jones from Atlanta Bird Game will be joining me. We'll have our annual draft. Be looking out for some things. We'll be putting out some stuff pretty soon to promote that as well. So y'all make sure y'all check it out. Brother Todrick, you know you got front seat here when we do that. I put Skoronski at guard. I believe you. I say that same thing. Boss Trucker, thank you so much. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you for always supporting, man. Dexter Owens, what's up, man? So I'm willing to bet my check to $1. If Young and Stroud don't go 1 and 2, we gonna get whichever one left at 3. They say it'll only cost us our first and second this year and second this year. It's interesting, Dexter, because I keep hearing that the Texans might take Will Anderson. And I'm here to tell you, we can Jalen Carter all we want. And, dude, Will Anderson is the best player in this draft. I love Jalen Carter. But I'm going to tell you, Will Anderson is the best player in this draft. He's been the best player, arguably, in the last 2 years. No disrespect to the Heisman winners of Bryce Young and Caleb Williams. Will Anderson is consistent. Will Anderson is always around the ball. He's a ball. Whoever gets him is going to get a real good one. Go back up here. Gats boy, what's going on, man? Said this is CP's last year of his contract. Yeah, and that's another thing that you got to think about with CP. That's why I think getting another running back is going to be not in number 8 necessarily, but getting another running back is going to be vital to this team. I'm not going to cry if we get a running back at 8. And obviously the only one that's probably going to be talked about is Bijan Robinson. But I just feel like I like our track record of getting these running backs under the first round. So I think you go for it. And Caleb Huntley was undrafted. I think I like the ability of us getting that. If you told me it's something that you would trust with the Atlanta Falcons is getting a couple of good running backs below the first round. Brandon Levy, what's going on, man? Says Bijan could be the third down slot receiver. He could. Again, I'm not going to argue with. If we make the pick, I'm not going to slam my headphones down and tear up the room and say, Bijan, I hear everyone loud and clear. He is a nice talent. He is a really good running back talent. I don't think he's as generational as some folks are trying to make him out to be. I think he's good. I think he's more than good. I think he's really good. I just don't think he's as people say. Because if he was, he'd probably be going a little bit higher, in my opinion. John Higgins says Cameo was good too. Never got a chance to see Cameo live, but Larry Blackman, boy, but and another thing, my buddy Chuck can tell you, I was in the marching band, as Chuck was, during my high school year, and we played. I think we played a couple of. I don't know. Did we do Candy? I know we did Word Up. I don't think we did Candy. Maybe we did. I know we did Word Up as one of our band songs, and I remember prior to us getting Word Up, the band before us did Alligator Woman. Alligator Woman. Y'all, some of you young boys don't know about that one, but we'll move on. Travis says Prince's Super Bowl performance was legendary, performing Purple Rain in the Rain. I think that's one of his, that's something that will go down in history. Whenever you look at the old clips of Prince, that was one of those performances that will always go down. John Higgins says Heat Wave was so good too. I saw the unsung, and I saw the unsung on Heat Wave with Rod Temperton, who just passed. I want to say last year, whatever. But dude, he was the song maker, bro. You go back to listen to some of those things that they did with Heat Wave. Woo! That was awesome. Norman's in the house. Norman said, Unc, I missed the notification. I'm rocking with you. That brother, it's all good. And remember, y'all, just get the notifications, hit the notification button. That way, when I do pop in, I know this is a little bit more of a pop-in show, but if you do, you push that, then I'll always pop in with you. Boss Trucker said, that's right. Freaknik wasn't all that. And that's what I'm saying. People take a couple of, scandalous pictures and stuff, because some of that was going on. There were some people that thought it was, free take over the city day when it came to that. Because there was a version of the Black College picnic in 86, 80, 85, 86 that was very tame in Piedmont Park. And all the college folks went over there and there was no drama. But then all of a sudden, freak became the signature word, and that turned into Freaknik, and Brandon says Buddha wants to play for a winner. I believe that too. I think he's probably just bluffing, though, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. Brandon says Chase Young on a nice deal would be interesting. Yeah, Chase Young is going to cost some money. And maybe we, with the way we're setting up, Brandon, they're saying we're going to have some money next year. We'll see how that's going to be, because I'm going to tell you what, they just paid Deron Payne out the yin yang. So I'm not sure if they're going to be able to. I don't know. Maybe they'll do like we did on our offensive line. We signed Lindstrom and McGarry to be there, but you're talking about Montrez Sweat, Deron Payne, Chase Young. You can't pay all of them. Larry going old school of it. Say, Steve, I'll be in my hand. How many wins the Falcons will have after the draft? Stay tuned. And you know what? Larry, we got to get together with you and Shonda and my wife and play some spades, because you I got to get with you and do that, most definitely. Jay Black says Matt Ryan was an above average quarterback. He was good. Yeah, above average. If I said anything less, that was inaccurate. Above average, definitely. Trish Daddy says, well, Buddha better do what it takes to come to Atlanta, because we're doing big things down here. I hope he does. That's just a lot of money. He's going to have to come for the low. I don't think Buddha's trying to get a trade to get lower. Boss Truck talking about Chris Chandelier. Talking about our other Super Bowl quarterback. Brandon Levy said can't fall in love with players. You can't. And the symbolisms of this, when this first started, I had 4 whole new players up here for the record. It changes. The fandom doesn't change. The players change. Yeah, you can't. You can't. It's okay to like players. I think a lot more people were hurt when Julio left than they were when Matt Ryan left. It's very interesting. Even though I take that back, maybe there was a great amount of Julio. Yeah, some Matt Ryan folks went crazy. That was crazy. Jay Black says Ritter can throw the ball. With this run game, we should be just fine. Well, I hope so. I do. And I don't think y'all have to take me to therapy. I'm rooting for the young man. Shoot, I went to New Orleans to root. I had no plans to go to New Orleans, and I told my wife when he made his first start, I told my wife, I said, baby, let's kick it down to New Orleans and see if we can get a ticket, because nobody was going to the game. New Orleans wasn't sold out because their team sucked too last year. So we went to New Orleans on a whim because I said, I'm going to support this guy. So it's interesting. I always laugh at people that try to question, no, I'm rooting for Atlanta, but of course I support the cat. If he doesn't do well, we don't win. Gotta support him if you're a Falcon fan. David says, we want an elite quarterback. We've never had one in this organization. That's the reason why, folks. It's not a matter of just wanting somebody for the fame and the name. We want to upgrade. But again, I'm now in my place of comfort where I'm saying I'm going to support the young man, and I hope he proves me wrong. I really do. Boss Trucker says, Steve, trust me, Ritter is going to be just fine. I hope so. I really do, y'all. I really hope so. Jay Black says, you think Huntley is coming back this year? And chat. Yeah, I think he's going to come back, but I don't think it's going to be training camp. I think they're going to be real easy with him. They do have a second-round tender. I think a second-round tender on him, too, so somebody could sign him away. But I don't think anybody's going to take a chance with that injury. But I think he'll be back. Look for him back maybe after the first part of the year. Augusta Gator, what's going on, man? Let's go Falcons. I'm ready for a good year, man. We are putting it together. Gator, let me ask you, man. And I know we haven't talked lately with some of the rumors about quarterback. What about Richardson, man? You gotta give me your feedback on that. I've heard a lot of talk about possibly him. Maybe not with Atlanta, but how do you think he's going to end up? Because he sure didn't help. He didn't help y'all last year, but Ghost Purpose says, why do something you're gonna regret down the line? All these Cougars are outraged at Jermaine Dupri and Uncle Luke because they decided to expose them. And freaked me back in the day. Hey, it's so funny, but you know what it is, Ghost? Let's think about it. In 1994, 5, 6, whatever, we didn't have iPhones and instant phones and instant videos and instant that back then. So there were folks that probably could get away with a more debauchery back then. Nowadays, you can't get away with that. I mean, even in Coachella, you see some of the folks acting a fool there, but you're probably a little more careful because everybody has a phone and everybody has a camera and everybody has to download TMZ to make money. So it's kind of one of those things where, the chances of you being exposed is greater. John Brooks says, it's being reported that Hero for the Heat has broken his hand. He's done for the season. Wow. And I keep seeing Giannis kept trying to come out there. I don't see him here at the moment. And they're down by 12. So I don't know whether he's going to try to come back or not. He needs to stop. Somebody needs to pull him out there and tell him they need him later on. Jay Black says Higgins is right. Cameo, Houdini, and Lakeside concerts were legendary. Yeah. Didn't get a chance to see Houdini and Lakeside. Funny Houdini story during year I went to the prom back when I think it was, I want to say, was that the Raising Hell? No, it wasn't Raising Hell. It was the tour. It was Houdini, LL Cool J, whatever. Actually rode the elevator up and down or down with who was the guy who used to wear the hat? I think that's the one that passed away. Wore the hat, and then we also saw LL Cool J on there as well during the prom. That was 86, I think it was. It had to be 86. Jay Black said the hood folks the hood folks too over to make the free. Y'all are crazy. Reggie, what's going on, man? It's all good, brother. You're never too late, man. And for those who don't see the video till afterwards, comment anyway, man. I always read the comments after the video is gone. You feel compelled to ask a question or just join in the chat. And again, I don't want to lose track of the other questions we asked since we had so many other people in here. The other question we had is, which artist or group would you like to see in concert that you haven't seen before? We had some good names come up and down in that, so y'all make sure y'all check that out. Let me see. Norman says, are y'all streaming the entire draft or just first round? We will definitely stream the first round. I'm definitely gonna do the second and third round. I think Tidy's gonna join me for that. But I will definitely be streaming all 3 days. Tidy and myself will 100% be streaming on draft day. Day 2, I'm not sure whether we're gonna be together, but I'll definitely be streaming on day 2 for the second and third round. And then Saturday, I'll definitely be on Saturday as well. Philip says Mayfield has 1 playoff win and only beat us once, and Carr is 0-2 against us, and both have losing career records. As a team, we have an advantage. I'm not scared of any Tampa Bay. I'm not scared of any New Orleans Saints. And the only reason I'm saying this coming year might be interesting for Carolina because they'll have a new quarterback, but it depends. If Bryce Young is as advertised, or if CJ Stroud is as advertised, there could be some trouble. There could be big trouble when you think about that. Big Low Country Sports, what in the world, Bo? How you doing, brother? Good to see you on a Sunday. Y'all already know the brother. Big Low want to take solos on songs he shouldn't. Country Sports in the house. Y'all make sure y'all give him some love and give him some light. Big Low, we talking about the one artist or group that you haven't seen in concert that you would want to see, dead or alive. So, yeah. Jay Black says, LOL, Uncle, you don't need therapy. Ritter has to show improve. Bottom line, y'all. Bottom line. Gus Gator said we had one named Favre. Yeah, we did. We had him and let him roll. We did. Boss Trucker says, I ain't gonna lie, it hurt me when Julio left, then Matt. Yeah, and a lot of people did that. I think that was, I don't know. It was just a weird thing. The Julio thing was just totally weird. And I'll say this. I think it was more, when Matt left, it was the end of an era for Atlanta Falcons because dude hung around since 2008. So for people to act like that wasn't a significant move in the franchise, it was. It was a move that needed to be made to get us to where we are now in 2023. But that was a big loss. Julio's loss because Julio had played footsie with the Falcons the last 2 years. Remember the summer he wanted like $2-3 million and didn't come to the camp. And then the next summer he wanted the big contract, and then he ended up playing 1 year. And I don't know. And I like Julio. It's not a personal thing, but it is one of those things where you like, I think they were tired of Julio. And I mean, Arthur Blank by the end, because he went out of his way to get him his little extra money the year before, to sign him to the highest contract for a wide receiver at age 31 or 32. And then, for him to leave the next year, that's a different story. Matt was kind of forced out, even though probably should have been forced out, but because his play had kind of deteriorated. And for anybody who doesn't believe it didn't, please go see Indianapolis tape. So, yeah. One Time for the Fan is in the house. And if I'm not mistaken, I think One Time for the Fan is coming on at 8 o'clock. So I'm not going to stay past 8, but I will be up here right up to 8. So y'all make sure, if you're over here in this chat, make sure y'all jump over to One Time for the Fan and support those cats over there. They always have some intriguing guests over there. And yes, I will make my way over there. I know I sound empty, but a brother be working, man. And then Big Low has restricted my time on YouTube. I don't know what he's done to my algorithms, but he probably got something where he's messing me up. But y'all that don't know, that's my brother. I mess with him all the time. So that I tried that to say Falcons will have a chance in every game if Ritter doesn't turn the ball over. I feel like our new defense will be strong enough to take us to the promised land. I think so. I think our defense is going to be nice. This is going to be the first time in Mercedes-Benz since 2017 that the optimism is going to be high from game one. That's why I can't wait till this schedule comes out this year and see who they have starting the season, who we have starting the season in the Benz. Because I think the energy is going to be a little different. And with winning comes more fans. And with more fans comes more of a home field advantage. And that's something we just haven't had on a regular basis in the Benz. And I'm going to love to see it. And the moves that we're making, those are the things that I think that'll lead this, kind of turn this narrative around of the Falcons being this horrible sports city and all that good stuff. We got to turn it around. And I think Terry and them are doing a great thing with this team. Love what they're doing with this defense. Dexter says, I'm telling you, Terry's going to pull the trigger on one of them to fall. Competition like TF said. I'm with Ritter, but Terry's sneaky. Don't forget what he said. Our plan is to start right now. And I remember that, Dexter. And he, as much as kind of hinted, he ain't scared to trade up into the draft. He's not. So if he does that, all good. I love it if he does. Investigator says Anthony Richardson is an unbelievable talent. If someone can develop between the ears, he will be a problem for any team. And I think that's the only thing, man. If I were a team, I would be a team. Boy, if Seattle can get their hands on him and play out that contract with Geno Smith, and they can, that would be a nice move, because he's going to have to go to a team, in my opinion, that's going to have a veteran quarterback to just go through those pains. So, yeah. Augusta Gator says his first concert was Tone Loc with Rob Bass opening for him. Tone Loc, the wild thing. Rob Bass, man. It takes two to make a thing go right. Thank you, Winston. Again, y'all can hit those like buttons for us. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. Dixon Way says, being an Atlanta native, I would love to see Outkast reunion concert. Man, when they had the thing here in Atlanta, I want to say, what was that, about 4 years ago? I know it's pre-pandemic. When they got back together, that was a beautiful thing, man. I would have loved to see them live. Absolutely. The whole Dungeon family. Love to see them live. But Boss Trucker says Michael Jackson would have loved to see Michael Jackson and the Jacksons with the Jacksons at Fulton County Stadium and by itself. And both times, Michael Jackson is just that guy. He is just that guy. Augusta Gator says, I'll pick Watching Dead. Elton John. Oh boy. Wallace and I. Wallace is here. Wallace, your artists that dead or alive, artists that you would love to see in concert that you haven't seen. That you haven't seen. Larry says, nothing hurt more than Dominique Wilkins being traded for Danny Manning. That hurt my soul. The next big hurt was Dion not being signed to a new contract. Both of those things, Larry, happened when I was in the military. I was in the military in Germany for the Dominique, which is the craziest thing for those of you remember, that the Hawks were the #1 seed team. And I know we heard about all the stuff with him and Lenny Wilkins and blah, blah. But they were the #1 seed that year before the trade. They were the #1 seed. And I remember when you're in Germany, you're 6 hours up. So I remember the next day, because sports wouldn't hit. It wasn't like in the day, like now you can probably get stuff that day. But if you're in the military, you remember, and especially if you're overseas, you had one channel that was Armed Forces Network. Armed Forces Network squeezed all the TV into one channel. So you didn't get a chance to see all the rest of the stuff. So for example, when football games came on, we used to watch the 1 o'clock games would come on like at 7 or daylight savings time at 8. And then the 4 o'clock game would come on at midnight or whatever. So you didn't get a chance to channel surf and all of that. Anyway, long story short, I found out about that trade. I was so ticked off. So ticked off. And then, of course, the Dion Atlanta not re-signing him, which I love that when Dion got put into the circle, he said if Arthur was here, he probably would have stayed. That was just crazy for the Falcons. Brandon says that defense looking a lot better, y'all. We got talent now. We do. No doubt. No doubt. One time for the fan says, thanks for the shout out, fan. We'll get your show, man. Thank you for the shout out. I will be watching you guys in a little bit. So definitely, again, everybody go check them out. I think, did y'all say 8:15, 8:10, 8:05? One of the two. I know it was 8 something when they said it. Ghost Pepper says, Uncle Shay was soliciting Miles in that yak, and the temptation was too much for Julio. Jet Jones Timber says, Ghost, I tell everybody to this day, I don't know if they still speak or not, but man, Shay set him up so bad, man. And you know there was legal trouble behind that, behind that call. Go back and watch the shows afterwards. They really didn't touch on that, even though that was the biggest story in sports. They couldn't touch on that because it's illegal to have somebody on being recorded on a TV show without their knowledge. And Julio had no idea he was on. So that was a huge deal. And I still say Uncle Shay owe him a big apology. Even if Julio felt the way he did, I think he did him real wrong that day. And I really do. Even no matter how it ended up. That was wrong. Bad business from Shannon Sharp, who I like. So that was even more surprising. Brandon says defense has top 10, 15 potential. Why not? I'm telling you, this defense wasn't horrific at the end of the year. We made some flubs and we gave up big plays. But if y'all really go look at these last few games of the year, we didn't give up a lot of points. Go look from the Carolina game, the second one, the Mariota on his butt throw game, to the end of the year. I think 25 was the top. If your defense is only giving up 25 games, and a lot of those games, it was much less than that, 21, 19 twice to the Steelers and the Commanders. I think the Saints only scored 17 or 21, whatever it was. I mean, we didn't give up a lot. So, yeah, the potential for top 10, why not? And especially with an offense that's ball control, That's possible. Augusta Gator says that new stadium can rock with the right fans. Go back and watch in the SEC championship game. We can have great home field advantage. And Gator, you right on point. If we can get that winning mentality into that Benz, that place can really go crazy. Matter of fact, the game we played against the Saints, the first game, which was not a sellout, when we were beating the mess out of them going into the third quarter, oh, man. I hadn't heard noise like that since the Georgia Dome, and I'm for real. Because even the year coming off the Super Bowl, we had some moments, don't get me wrong, but it still felt kind of awkward because that last year, the Georgia Dome was so awesome. But you're absolutely right. We could. Boss Trucker says, Steve, I was stationed in Graph, bruh. Okay, so you already know. I'm going to tell you what we used to do. And I don't know what your MOS was, boss. We were 93 Foxtrot, field artillery, field meteorology. If you work field artillery, you always got what you call the Met report, the weather balloons. That's what I did, 93 Fox. We used to be stationed in Vilsack. So we would go to Vilsack. So you're going to get mad at this. We used to go to Vilsack, and they would set us up with the equipment on the Vilsack barracks. So we would sleep in the barracks, and then we had a little place that we would drive up to that had the antennas and everything set up. So when we went to Vilsack, and here's the sweet spot. We got TDY every trip. 30 days. Anybody know what that is? You know what I'm talking about. That was beautiful. Wallace says, I would say Michael Jackson. Yeah, it's so weird. A lot of people didn't get a chance to see him, but probably because those tickets were outrageous back then. But yeah, Mike was a bad boy, man. And he put on a great concert. James Holloway in the house said, I wouldn't be shocked if they Anthony Richardson at number 8 because technically he fits Arthur Smith's scheme. The only thing I would probably say about that, James, is I would probably want a more seasoned vet. And I'm not trying to say Heineke doesn't fit that bill, but boy, if I'm going to bring somebody like Anthony Richardson in, I've got to have it. And Lord, I'm not saying I want them for their talent, but a Derek Carr, a Jimmy Garoppolo, who else got signed? A Teddy Bridgewater, somebody who has years in the game, like 6 to 8 good veteran years in the game to sit on the side like Ritter did this year and learn. If I was going to get somebody like Richardson, but his talent is nice. You can't deny that, but that's a tough one at 8. Big time Joseph Evans. That's my buddy. What's going on, man? Say Lenny Wilkins did not like star players. Terrible trade because Manning did not want to play in Atlanta. And that was the crazy thing too, Joe. Think about that. Think about what by today's move, by today's media, Atlanta would have been roasted. They basically gave up a Hall of Fame player who was having a great year. I'm going to look up his numbers right now. And I'm going to stop what I'm doing to look up his numbers for that particular year. Dominique Wilkins. Because before he left, he had some really good numbers that year. Hold on. And I had to stop what I was doing. I don't care. Okay. That half year that he was playing, he was averaging 24 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists before he got traded. They traded that for Danny Manning just because a couple of years ago he had won the national championship with Kansas. Danny Manning was straight hot garbage when he got here. And he left. So they trusted Lenny Wilkins to trade away your Hall of Fame player to get somebody who played on your team for what? 3 months? Maybe? Worst move ever in the history. One of the worst moves ever in the history of Atlanta Falcons. I mean, Atlanta City sports. Seba says Stan Caston would have been publicly stoned. Should have been publicly stoned for the Wilkins Manning trade. Just an absolute horrible trade. You're absolutely right. And think about it. If like I said, if it was today, man, he probably would have got fired at that end, man. Wallace says, Unc, I did 20 years in the Navy. What branch you served? Army, sir. I did 2 tours. 2 tours well, I did 2 tiers. I was at Fort Lewis with Basic SEAL, Fort Lewis, that last part of Fort Lewis, swung to Desert Storm, came back, went to bomb holder for about 2.5 years, and then ETS out of Fort Benning, Georgia. So only did 8. Matt Town, Dirty, what's going on, brother? What's going on? Uh-oh, trying to get my thing. Dexter says, I miss being able to call your show, Unc, so I can get on and speak my knowledge. I don't study just the Falcons. I studied the NFL. Dexter, what we're going to do, especially draft night, I'm going to put the link into the chat so we can start talking about what's going on draft night. We're going to come on. I'm pretty sure it's going to be 7:30. We'll start early because, we pick early in the draft, and knowing that there's a possibility that there may be a lot of movement in the draft, we'll start getting you guys on so we can talk to you. So just have your mobile devices ready, your PCs ready, and stuff like that. We're going to have a lot of fun that particular night. We will be on chilling on Thursday. And bring your beverage of choice. We will toast the pick the Falcons made, no matter who it is, because they are going to be part of the team. So make sure you get your champagne, Kool-Aid, water, cognac, Mad Dog, Boone's Farm, Thunderbird, whatever. I will have Coke Zero. Oh, man. Brandon said defense did play that well down the stretch. They were only giving up 20 points a game. And that was my point, Brandon. There are a lot of people that want to. Am I sitting here telling you we didn't need upgrade on players? Absolutely we did. But there were a lot of games where the offense, great part of that due to the great Marcus Mariota, our offense didn't do the job. And for those that just want to beat down, what a sorry offense. What a sorry. Slow down a little bit. Did you actually watch the games? Baltimore, and I know Tyler Huntley was quarterbacking, should have won Baltimore. Pittsburgh, here, should have beat Pittsburgh. The Chargers with the great up and to beat them. All those teams. But the offense didn't outweigh the defense. I know we had a lot of fumbles in that Charger game, too. Let me see. Norman says, I did 8 years, and I tell you, it was lovely. Absolutely. Said, know you're a part of the 100%, is it PT? Oh, you talking about PT game? Then? Shh. Man, I didn't do most. If you mean in PT, yeah, I always match the sit-ups. I used to run, believe it or not. Trust me, I know y'all looking like you didn't run that. I still run actually pretty good right now, especially distance. I used to run that 2 mile in about 11.5, 12, easy. It's not my run. I can do push-ups to save my life. My upper body is horrible. Horrible. I could never max the PT test. Never. Matter of fact, I was one of those cats in basic training, show you how they used to do me. I think when I went in basic training, I was like 210. And then by the end of basic training, I was 179. I was one of them cats that I'd be doing push-ups and you have to do 41 to pass the test. I'm sorry, 42. And I used to be doing the push-ups and I'd get to 40 and the drill sergeants, no matter what, they'd be like, 40, 40, 40. And I know I was doing perfect form push-ups, but they just wanted to put me on extra PT scrubs. Wallace says, I don't think we're drafting a quarterback this draft. If we draft a quarterback, Wallace, I think the sensible thing would be maybe in the later rounds. Take a flyer on somebody in the third or fourth round, maybe in the fourth round or fifth round. Yeah, the only way I see us getting a quarterback realistically is if you see us trade up draft night. If we trade up to number 3, I would love to get Will Anderson before I get anybody, for the record. If we traded up to number 3 after only one quarterback is taken, Falcons might be trying to do something. But we'll see. Jay Black says that Dominique trade was the worst in pro sports in Atlanta. I agree. Also says, Unique says I could see if we were losing, they were in first place. The number one, they were not only first place, they were the number 1 seed when they made the trade. They were the number 1 seed. It made no sense. Dexter says sign Ryan to a 1-year deal to help that young crew. Colts already got to pay him $20 million no matter what. Yeah, I saw that contract, the guaranteed money. I thought it was $13 million, but whatever it is, it's too much money that they have to pay him. Only thing I disagree with that with Dexter is you got to remember, even though as much stuff as he's doing here in Atlanta, they forced that man out of Atlanta last year. I'm not trying to sit here and act like he should have stayed, because I think he should have been gone a couple of years prior. I think if they would have drafted Justin Fields, people wouldn't feel this way about it. But that's not here or there. We're in 2023. I don't see Dexter, and it's not even about pride. Why would you want to come back to a regime, the regime that didn't draft you, to a regime that basically told you, nah, we good. We're going to get rid of you for a 3rd round pick. I don't even think, even if Ryan sucked up his pride, I just don't think that's a crazy move. I don't know. Not to me. Ghost Pepper says, Richard Pryor, Paul Mooney, Robin Harris, Bernie Mac, Red Fox, Eddie Murphy Raw. I would love to see the Emperor's a comedy. That would have been a great show if that did that. Here's the thing. Who would close that show? Because if you had that show, I guess no matter what, I guess Richard, right? If you had that show when all of them were alive, and they were all alive at one time, I would say Bernie Mac would probably open because he was the baby at that time. Robin Harris would be next. Paul Mooney would be after him. People don't realize Paul Mooney wrote a lot of stuff and wrote a lot of Richard Pryor stuff as well. The last 3 would be kind of interesting because Red Fox was pretty funny. If you go back and listen to some of the old stuff, and I started listening to him on the Sirius XM, the little comedy thing they used to have was the Foxhole, when they used to have that. And Red Fox had a lot of stuff on Jamie's little channel. Yeah, and then Eddie, and then Richard, because at the time that all of these guys were alive, and I guess the first one to die was Red Fox. At that time, you would probably still let Richard close, no matter what. Richard is probably the GOAT when you think about that. J. Crew says, Unc is getting more likely that we could move back and grab Bijan. What are your thoughts? If we move back and get more trade capital, that would be cool. Now, it depends on how far we move back, Jay. I don't think Bijan is going to go past maybe 12 or 13. I think Philadelphia would grab him in a heartbeat if he happened to fall in their lap. So if you're going to trade with the thoughts of getting him, you probably can't trade too far back. There's no way if he's there that he passes Philadelphia. It just got rid of Sanders too. Nah. Trish Daddy says all legends. Absolutely. Absolutely. Brandon, you're absolutely right. And I forgot about the Washington game. And even as bad as the throw was that Mariota made, that was an Arthur Smith. That was an Arthur Smith flub. That was a horrible play call. You had no reason to call a pass in that situation. It was shades of Seattle and New England. You ran the ball to get all the way down there inside the freaking 5-yard line, and then all of a sudden you want to make Mariota a thrower. That was one of the dumbest decisions ever made. I agree with you 100%, Brandon. That was dumb. Boss said the best idea, 2 miles in 14 minutes. And, listen, I did a little bit of running prior to jumping to going into the military. So I like distance running. I used to love distance running, actually. So when I got into the military, that was the one thing I knew I could do. I could run fast, a long distance. I couldn't sprint. For those keeping up, Miami's up 10 on Milwaukee with about 9 minutes left in the game. Boss said 11 and mile. Yeah, oh, brother, 11 and a half. Matter of fact, boss, I think my fastest was when I was in PLDC. When I was in PLDC, I ran at 11:15. And matter of fact, PLDC, I almost maxed the PT by then. And by then it was different because you had different folks judging you. And did y'all have the clacker? They had the clacker in PLDC. So for some reason, I was good on that clacker. I think I did about close to maybe about 60 something on that clacker. So that was, Brandon says 2 miles now takes me 30 minutes. 2023, it takes me 30 minutes. Actually, it takes me probably about 32 minutes. Last time I did do a 5K last year, where I did do one of the miles in 13, probably 30. But after that, I sprinted the first, when I say sprint, for a 300-pound man, and that's a different definition. But I really went hard the first mile, and I basically walked fast the last 2-point-something miles. But I was just trying to get out there, man. But I did pretty good on that. But average right now, if I really got a good jog going, I'd probably do about 14 minutes. About 14 and a half, something like that, even at my size now. Winston says the Colts would have to pay him $12 million. I thought it was around 12 or 13, something like that. Jay Cruz says, I wouldn't trade back past 16, honestly. Yeah, and you got to remember, man, the talent level. Now, if you're just about getting bodies, it depends on what, Jay, this is important. If it's just about getting depth at that point, maybe you are satisfied with trading back because you're probably getting at least 2 to 3 picks if somebody's trying to move up into the top 10. So with that, that's probably what you would be looking at. Norman says my best was 1254. I maxed everything else. I was referring to the VA benefits I was talking about. Oh, no. Oh, brother. I still get a certain percentage for my ears right now. That's a long story. It's so funny. I was talking to my wife about that the other day, saying I need to step my game up because there was a time that I was, I should have been going up there when all of the VA changes were doing up in Claremont, but I got to get on the stick, especially before I retire. So you're absolutely right. Wallace Actually, the play would have worked if Mariota would have threw sooner because the receiver was on. And Wallace, you're right. But Wallace, that was second down. I don't even think that was third down. Was it second down or third down? But either way, you had to score a touchdown. So it was going to be the last 4 plays. So that might have been third down. But I still think the run game got you there. So why not run the ball? That's the only thing. I don't know. Trish Daddy says, I can see Atlanta with a 14-3 record. Honestly, hey, man. The schedule on paper isn't that daunting when you think about it. So, when I say schedule, the opponents aren't that daunting. I'm trying to hot dog it. I had it on here. I know we played the North this year, the NFC North, and I'm not mistaken, we played the AFC South. Are you seriously scared of Chicago, Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay, especially without Aaron Rodgers? And then the South, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Indianapolis, and the Houston Texans? No. Norman says, I'm freshly out. LOL. I was a drill sergeant and all of that before the age of 25. You a bad man then, Drill. You a bad man. I respected the mess out of drill sergeants, man. Them cat. Y'all had a 24-hour job that folks just don't realize. You trying to mold a young man and woman into soldiers. That to untrain regular folks and retrain them, that's crazy. Ghost Pepper says, Unc, I remember when Paul Mooney was called the king of comedies, the kings of copycats. I mean, and you think about, look, Paul Mooney can talk a lot of junk, man. If anybody doesn't know Paul Mooney's work prior to, I know a lot of people just realized who he was at the Dave Chappelle show. No, Paul Mooney was a giant in the comedy circuits back then. He co-wrote half of Sanford & Son. Wallace says, yes, you're right. NFC North, AFC South this year. So, yeah, it can be done. Trench Daddy says, honestly, I don't think of Steve Harvey as a king of comedy, nor DL. I would have put Eddie Griffin and Arnez J before Steve and DL. What do you think? I think DL at the time was the hot dude. You know, he was coming off of, doing that Comic View and everything, just like Cedric and all of that. So I think he was kind of hot at the. I'll argue this: before Cat Williams kind of showed up, DL was kind of that really tell it how it is type of guy. And though I like my comedy, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and be a prude about, all the cussing and stuff. All of them do it. But I like storytelling. And to me, guys who tell stories, that's why I like Paul Mooney. That's why I love Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy and Bernie Mac. They told stories. Cedric told stories. Yeah, Steve Harvey told stories too. You just got to remember at that time. And I think Eddie Griffin was nice, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Eddie Griffin is good because I'm tell you what, Eddie Griffin is in one of my favorite movies of all time, and that's Undercover Brother. So he could get retired on that by himself. So, but yeah, I don't know if I would have shook it up at that point, fellas. I don't know if I would have. Dexter said, I wish we could pull that Hopkins trade off. Only if Hopkins wasn't asking for a lot of money. Because you got to figure he's going to want to get paid. Hopkins not coming here less than $10 million. Even at this juncture of his career. Matt Town Dirty said, we have to remember that Arthur was pretty much a rookie as a head coach. That's true. That's true. Wallace says, what do you think about us drafting the top O-line with our 8th pick and if we stay with the pick? I don't have a problem with it, Wallace. I think I was trying to tell people before. Wallace right now that as many opinions as we have about the number 8 position, how many of them are truly wrong? They're not. They're not wrong because we need a lot. Even with all the moves we made, even with the A+, or B+, A- moves we made, we still need some more depth. Absolutely, we do. Folks, it's 8 o'clock, and I encourage you all to go over to One Time for the Fan. Those brothers are putting the show on. I think it's at 8:05. I ask you, if you support me and your aunt, go over there, give them a like, hit the subscribe button for them. They do a great job over there. Please give some love out to One Time for the Fan. I'm going to holler at y'all tomorrow. We do the Monday Aftermath. I'll be in for a little bit tomorrow, and I'll put the time on the chat. Not on the chat. I'll put the time in and schedule the show. So y'all make sure you put your notifications button on so it can automatically let you know when I'm in. Until then, y'all enjoy your Sundays, man. I appreciate chatting it up with everybody as usual. This is awesome. We are less than 2 weeks away from the draft, y'all. Please join your uncle. And I tell y'all, support everyone. Support everyone in there. I'll post a link to that, Reggie. I see your thing on there. I'm going to put the link in here after I put this chat out. One Time for the Fan. Y'all make sure y'all check them out. And I'll do that. But y'all check us out draft night, please. 7:30 Thursday. Check out the rest of your creators. I know you got big fans. Everybody, I support all those cats out there. But give your uncle some love that night, too. Do your channel surfing. It's all good. Until then, man, y'all enjoy your Sunday. Take care. One Time for the Fan, y'all. Take them out.